about the Black Friday follow-up, or all about Black Friday deals, what you should be getting before it ends, probably tomorrow, or Adam will fill us in on dates anyway. Adam, do you have a BFF?
A Black Friday follow-up episode? Yes, I do.
That's right, everyone. We are giving you the lowdown on some great sales that you can take advantage of today, but you'd better hurry because these offers won't be around for much longer.
Okay, so today we're going to be recommending three different games. One's going to be a digital download on PC, one's going to be on the console of our choice, and the other one is going to be a physical sale of some sort. Although in this pandemic, they may still be sold online as opposed to in a physical store.
I do love saving money, and so I'm excited about this episode, Adam. Would you like to pitch us the first sale?
All right. So my first game is on Steam. It is Metro Exodus. All right, and I really enjoyed the original Metro, so this game has been on my wish list for quite a while. So I'm very excited to see that this one is on sale. So it's published by A4 Games. It was originally released in February 2019, so it's just a little bit, almost 2 years old now. You can get it on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, Xbox X Series, Stadia, and Luna. So there's actually quite a few platforms, but we're going to be focusing on the Steam version today. All right. So basically, these games, excuse me, the Metro games are basically following the Metro book series, which is written by a Russian author that take place in kind of a future, not too far in the future though, post-apocalyptic world where the world's basically been bombed to heck. So there's nuclear fallout everywhere. And humanity has moved down into the metro system of Russia. So that's where everybody's kind of living underground, and different stations are basically the new cities of this new society. And your character, Artyom, is supposed to move through the tunnels, moving through between the different societies and the different groups. And he's trying to find a secret to get to these missile silos because that's going to basically dictate the future of humanity as who can have control over these things. So that's the first game. And the second game is kind of a follow up to that. And then now this is Metro Exodus. So this is a few years later, and Artyom and his crew basically have decided that they need to leave the metro system and they need to find a new, more sustainable home for the future. So this is an FPS game. It's entirely an FPS. There's no RPG mechanics or anything like that. There are customizations of weapons, so you can add scopes and that sort of thing. But this is really kind of for people that enjoy FPS games, so Wolfenstein or Halo or that sort of thing. But they really like that Fallout 4 aesthetics, that kind of post-apocalyptic. Everything is decrepit and all that. And also, you have to keep track of things like radiation, toxic gases. So you do have to. There is a bit of a survival element into it, in that you do have to wear your gas mask, but you have limited filters, and they do expire over time. So you do need to keep track of that, or else you could get caught in a situation where you're basically trapped because there's nothing but radiation around you and you can't even breathe. So yeah, I don't want to give too many spoilers away, but I really enjoyed the first one. Now on console, the controls were a little bit clunky. My comparison would be, say, Fallout 3, where things were very kind of, there was no smoothness to it. It was just kind of a jerky, either look up at a slow speed or look up at a fast speed. There was no spectrum of speed when looking around. So I have heard that this one is improved on consoles. However, being that this is a Steam sale, you should have no problems with controls on PC, because with the mouse and keyboard, you can control it as smoothly as you want. So I would really recommend checking this out. And from what I've heard, the book series is actually quite good too. So if you get a chance, go ahead and read those. So that was a quick review today.
Thank you. So I got loads of questions. I've always wanted to play these, but I've always seen the tags on Steam as horror FPS, or how scary is this game?
It's mostly jump scares. It can be quite scary at times. It is quite dark, being that you're underground. There are, so things are going to be jumping out at you at the last second. There will be times where you're walking around and uh, you see a door or something like that made of wood, and at the last second when you go to open the door, something comes bursting through it. So mostly it's jump scares. It's not. It can be quite graphic in the sense that if you shoot something in the head can explode or something like that. But most of it's just kind of that you're in a really dark environment. You can't see very well. You're you're running low on your oxygen. You need to move quickly. There's something out there, but you don't know exactly where it is. And you can only see down this tunnel. You can see there's a tunnel that way, but you can't see around it. So mostly it's a sense of tension rather than, like, say something like Resident Evil where it's gory zombies or anything like that. So it can be quite intense, and one aspect of it is there is a supernatural aspect of it as well, in that you have, after the bombs dropped, all this radiation just killed all these people. So there are actually ghosts that kind of manifest as shadows from time to time. So they do have that as a kind of side element to it. So it's mostly a tension rather than a horror, I would say.
Okay. In terms of playtime, is this like a typical FPS when you can kind of save like any way you want, or are you bound to like save points or checkpoints?
I'm pretty sure you can save anywhere you want. And the original ones, it's been a while since I played them. I can't remember if you could or not. I know it obviously fast saves at the beginning of each level, but I think you could save at any point you want. Also, the difference between this one and the older ones, you were underground, so you were pretty limited in where you could go. This one, they actually spend a lot of time on the surface,
Oh,
so
okay.
there's a lot more freedom of movement. It's not entirely open world, but the levels are much, much wider, so there's not always one specific path you need to follow. You can kind of go, this way, or you can go that way, or so I'm pretty sure you can save at any point, just because there is a lot more of the world to explore at this point.
Um, how long did you play this for?
The original one, or the original two, actually, because I played Metro 2030, I think it's 2033, and then Metro Last Light. So I probably spent, I don't know, 20, 30 hours on it. For me, it's a relatively short time, but the original games were quite linear. So it
Okay.
was just kind of like what you might get out of imagine a Halo game, but there's no multiplayer. So they just took all that multiplayer focus and put it into a story mode. And that's basically what you got.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good. And do you want to add anything else?
I meant to write down the price and I totally forgot it. So I'm sorry about that. I can check for you guys real
Sure,
quick.
sure, sure. Fill us in
Uh,
so people know what
yeah,
to.
my other stuff, I actually wrote down prices. Let's see. So if I type in Metro
And
Exodus,
Steam.
I want to say, yeah, on Steam, I want to say it's like 75% off or something like
I'm
that.
sure it's pretty cheap.
It's really ridiculous. Let's see. Okay, here we go. If I do a search on Steam, apparently it's searching people, not the store.
Let me
Let's see.
see.
Okay, if I go to
Metro
catalog, I could do it
Exodus.
on my PC probably faster, but okay, here we go.
Ah, yeah, I see. 60% on Metro Exodus. 480
60% off.
Taiwan dollars. So be about 15
Yeah, so that's
US.
really, really cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know on PSN if you have PS Plus, it's 70% off too. So
That's a great deal as well.
exactly, but yeah, it's a great deal. I had a lot of fun with it. It doesn't have the original ones didn't have too much replay value because they were quite linear, but this one I think might have a little bit more. But because it doesn't focus on multiplayer, it's probably a great game. Just if you're the kind of person who's like, I want to pick up a game, I want to finish it, and I want to be done and move on. This is a great game for that.
Okay. Cool. No, no, you've actually told me about it, and I've watched the trailer. I'm like, oh, I actually might pick this up at some point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd recommend these.
Cool.
And again, back to what we were talking about before, where we were talking about developers from not necessarily non-Western, but non-English countries. This is made by a Russian company, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
you're right.
yeah. So there you go. Get some Russian representation in there.
Cool. Okay, then I'm moving on to my game. My game today is Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. It is originally I played this on the Gear VR. If you don't know what the Gear VR is, the Gear VR is a VR headset, non-powered, just has lenses inside, made by Samsung for the S series lines of phones, which is this one over here. Um, Started all the way back in the S6, and I got this that time. Samsung was partnered with the Oculus store or with Oculus before Oculus was bought by Facebook. I don't know if they're still partnered. I played this with my brothers one time. I went back to South Africa. I've got this on my iPad as well. Basically, it's sort of like a small party game, maybe, but it is a party game, but not for like 10 people or something. It's probably something you play with your family. One person is going to be looking at the bomb. The other people are going to be looking at the manual. You can kind of see this in the trailer right here. Uh, the guy is like sort of screaming, and the people are looking at this paper manual. What I've done with this, because I've played this in class, is you sort of divide the paper manual up into sections. You give it to each person in your family, and then the person who's defusing the bomb will be like, okay, this is a module, or these I see 3 wires or 7 wires. Which one do I cut? And or I see a little like a maze puzzle. Basically, you're defusing bombs, and it's awesome. It's really fun, really intense, and it has sort of a nice level of progression, so that the beginning bombs, the sort of like a tutorial, is actually relatively easy. It probably only starts to get hard after your fifth or sixth bomb, and it's not very basic, so you do need like a wide variety of intelligences to deal with this. Some puzzles are sort of logic, some puzzles are visual, some puzzles are time based, and you need really, really good communication. The guy who's defusing the bomb has to describe things really well, because the people who are holding the manual are not allowed to see the bomb. So of course you can cheat, but it's just less fun that way. At the moment, it is on sale on Steam for 50% off. It is $7.50, or that would be about 250 Taiwan dollars. The sale is ending today on Steam. It's published by Steel Crate Games 2015. It is now available on pretty much every platform. I'm not sure if it's on the new consoles though. And just yeah, party game. Anyone who's good at communicating, this is probably not a game for non-English speakers whose English level is not great, because the manual is fairly complicated. I have tried this with high school students here in Taiwan, and the manual is just way too difficult for them, and they just can't communicate that well in English anyway. Yes. Okay. Adam, did you ever play this?
No, I think it's actually on PlayStation VR, but I never played it myself. So, looking at here, the guy is not using a VR headset.
No, no. That's
Now,
why I've got it on the iPad and the VR, and you can get it on PC.
okay, so you don't need a VR headset to be able to play this.
Nope, nope, no. VR is
Okay.
the VR experience is not even that amazing. The only thing is that it would sort of limits your view, so you don't see the other people, and that kind of makes it interesting.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's probably a little bit easier to make sure that nobody's cheating if only one person has the headset over their eyes.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, would you recommend playing this on some sort of tablet or something like that? Because I mean, if you're playing in a living room, obviously it's going to be really hard to make sure nobody can see the TV except the guy who's supposed to be defusing a bomb.
Yes, I mean you could sort of do like what the trailer suggests, sort of people look in one particular direction. Yeah, on a tablet, totally. I mean, I wouldn't play it on an iPad Mini or a small one. A big tablet will definitely be better. I know it's available for phones as well, so I mean, if you're able to and you can accept it, sure, you could pretty much play it on anything.
Okay. Now, how? So you've played this before in class, right?
I played it in class. I played it with my brothers. Yes.
Can you give us an example of what kind of things you'd have to do to just fuse the bomb?
Sure. Let me see if I can rewind this
Like, are you
trailer.
cutting wires or are you moving modules around? Because I mean, obviously, different games have. I've seen games where it's like that. Like for example, say Bioshock, where they kind of do one of those pipe dream type games where you have to connect
All right.
nodes or stuff like that?
Okay, so
Just
I've
kind of wondering.
frozen the trailer at the right place here. If you look on the
Okay.
trailer, you'll see the bomb has is basically it's a briefcase bomb. It has different sections.
Okay.
One is so looking
Right.
at the timer section in the middle, you can see that that one works is that depending on how many other modules there are in the menu, it will say, okay, when the timer is on an even number or an odd number, you need to hit a button. And then if
Oh,
you
wow.
yes,
So timing's really important.
and then you look at the wires, it's like if you see two red wires, then cut the blue wire. If there's two blue wires and one red wire, you need to cut this wire. And then
Okay.
if you look at the top left, it says there's a detonate button. So if the button is yellow, you need to press the button when the timer is on 35. Uh, yes, it's all the modules are very different rules, and the manual is thick. It's about 40 pages long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, is there like a digital version? So if you had, say, a tablet, you could just use that to
Yeah, yeah.
filter through the
It,
manual, or you have
it's
to print
it's a
it off?
PDF version. I printed it
Okay.
out one time long ago, but now I would just put it on a tablet and but then again, if you're doing what I said, split it up so that everybody feels engaged, uh, you'd probably need to print it out. Or just if everyone had three phones or three tablets. So phones would be easy. But reading the mail on the phone would be a little bit irritating.
Would you recommend printing out all the pages for everybody, or dividing the pages up amongst the other people so everybody kind of specializes in one kind of
I would
fusion?
recommend splitting it up because it's just because I mean if you're doing it like they suggest in the trailer where everybody's looking at the one, I mean you sort of stuck with just four people playing the game where you could potentially expand it up to six, seven, eight people.
Okay. So everybody just takes one part of the manual, and you all have to be like, oh, this is my part,
Yes,
sort of thing.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Now, is this kind of more fun, or is it high stress?
I would say it's pretty fun, but I mean it's fun with people you know. Playing with students and
Okay.
stuff, they if they are not very friendly with each other, they start criticizing and people feel hurt. So, but playing with your family, yeah, totally fun.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, this looks like a lot of fun. I've heard about it. I always kind of wanted to play it, but I only knew it as a VR game. I didn't realize they had it on tablet and that sort of thing. So,
This could be another thing we do with a potential group streaming thing at some point.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So, what about you, Adam? What are you talking about next?
All right. So the next one is going to be my physical sale, which is going to be on Amazon. So it is still a digital sale, but it is a physical object, and that is going to be the Amazon Razer. Sorry, the Razer Raiju Mobile, which is a gamepad, but it has a clip specifically on top where you can clip your phone to it. And the reason it's on sale, normally it would be selling for $89.99. Only it's on sale for $69.99. So you can save $20 on it. And the reason I recommend this is because I know for me, sometimes when I'm playing a game on my phone, that form factor where you're tapping the screen, I would actually prefer having a controller just because that's what I'm used to. But also beyond that, this is actually going to be really useful moving forward if you're the kind of person who wants to get into something like xCloud. So it's already been approved, I believe, for NVIDIA. Was it GeForce Now?
Yes.
Is that their streaming one? So it's already been approved for GeForce Now. It hasn't been name dropped for xCloud, but it is more than likely going to be available for xCloud. There hasn't been any mention on Luna or Stadia yet, but I would not be surprised because both of those do have mobile apps. And the fact that you have a mobile app, there's probably a very good chance that since this is designed to be used with phones, that it will be useful for those as well. So if you're the kind of person that really wants to use your phone a lot, say you're doing like for instance remote play on the PS5 or on the PS4, or if you do get a Stadia or you do get a Luna or you do get xCloud down the line, this could be really really useful because you just plug it in your phone, and simple as that. So yeah, I'd highly recommend it. I'm not a big fan of asymmetric controls myself. I prefer the parallel analog sticks. It's what I'm used to. It just feels better for me. I know there's a huge debate online as to whether one is superior over the other. Personally, I just think it's a personal preference. I don't think that one is necessarily superior over the other. And similar to kind of the iOS versus, say, Windows debate, iOS people will swear that it's more intuitive and more user friendly than, say, Windows. And me, who grew up on Windows, is like, I have no idea what I'm doing on this Mac. So I really do think it's just a personal preference thing there. It is. It's also compatible. So it is compatible with Android and iOS. I'm assuming Windows Phone, but I didn't see anything specifically on that. Yeah, so this is great for anybody who just likes to game on the go and doesn't really like to tap their screen for the controls. That's one thing that for me personally, um, when I'm playing, that's part of the reason why the games that I play on the phone are usually puzzle games, because they're usually the kind of thing you can tap. I don't play a lot of those kind of RPGs on the phone because I don't know, sliding my finger across the screen and just you're rubbing it, and just doesn't feel right. So I think having this might actually move me in that direction where I start playing more of those games.
Totally.
So yeah,
Um, would you pick something like this up in the future?
I've considered it in the past actually, quite often, because with before I had the PlayStation Vita, which had remote play for the PS4. But then even on the PlayStation Vita, L2 buttons, so you had to tap the back screen to do it, and it wasn't very efficient. So I'd like try to play Dragon's Dogma that way, and you could do it, but it just didn't feel right. Now I have a special attachment that adds those that functionality onto it, but uh, I had strongly considered it just because I did have remote play on my phone, and my wife might be watching some TV show, or she might be, she was really big into dance. She loves dancing, hip hop, ballet, all that. So she'll be watching YouTube videos or something like that. That's not my thing, but I don't want to take it away from her. So I'd want to stream stuff to my phone. So I considered it. Uh, and I've also looked. They have the attachments that you can hook up to a DS5 and a DS4, or they have ones for DS4. I think they have ones for DS5 now too, and I'm pretty sure Xbox has them as well. So I have looked into it. But yeah, actually, I would.
Okay. So do you know, so this is wireless. Do you know what the battery life is like?
I have no idea. That's a very good question. I have not seen anything on the battery life.
Because I
I would
was,
assume. Yeah, that's a great question, and I think that the battery is built in. I don't think. I don't think. I think you have to recharge it. I don't think you have to
wow,
enter
it's
double A's or anything like that.
23 hours.
Okay.
That's impressive, and it charges on USB-C,
Yes.
which is great because for our less tech-savvy audience, almost all devices, including the new Apple iPhones 12s, the iPad Air 4s, will all be using USB-C devices. So you can actually just charge everything with one cable as opposed to having Apple's Lightning, some other custom-made connectors with other devices. Now everything's going to be moving into USB-C into the future.
That's right. And the DualSense 5 for the PS5 is also USB-C,
Oh,
as is the
nice.
Switch.
Oh,
As is the Switch, yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's USB-C as well. So yeah, pretty much everything is USB-C, and USB-C is great because you can't put it in the wrong way. You can flip it upside down and it works perfectly fine. So no more of that. Which way does the USB go in?
Yes. Oh, God. Hate that.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
yeah, and it's entirely wireless. And I think I read somewhere you might be able to use it, link it with certain consoles, but I'm not sure if that's true or not. That might just be a rumor.
It'd be interesting. I'm like, this would be great. Like, if this was compatible with Windows, just as could use it as a Windows controller, that would also make this like a big value in my books as well.
That's a very good question. I do not know if it is compatible with Windows. Let's look that up real quick. Razer
Compatible Windows.
Raiju Mobile Windows. Let's see. Support. Nope. So far, everything I'm seeing, it
Windows
says
7 or
Windows
later.
device. Okay, so there you go. There's your Windows controller right there.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. That's
So yeah, if they had a
go ahead.
if they had parallel stick version of it, I would totally get it. But
I've
personally,
actually
I'm just
never
not a fan.
done a parallel controller because the Switch has the asymmetric as you. I didn't even realize that that was the term, and I'm not even really used to that. But I would like to try the parallel. I guess I'll be able to try when we do our awesome group stream at the end of this year.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that it does have the two extra buttons on the top, and it's got the two paddle things on the bottom. So you do have an extra four buttons on it, so you can do a little bit of personalization as well.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah, no, it's a great deal.
Okay, so keep an eye out for that on Amazon.com. Ending. Do you know when it ends?
That's a good question. It doesn't say. I have the site open right now, but it doesn't say when the sale ends. So
Okay. Okay, so
no
then
idea.
grab it right now.
Today.
Yes. All right, moving on to my physical game. I don't have anything cool as Adam's Raiju Mobile. My game is this is available on www.indiebox.com, indiebox.com. They're having an awesome sale. They sell collector's editions of games, and they're usually fairly expensive, like 40, 50 US dollars. So these collected editions come with art and physical things. The Love is in a Dangerous Space Time, which is this game, and I should have led off with that. Comes with a little like statue, sort of like a little Funko Pop. Comes with some art. Comes with a physical version of the game as well as a digital code for the game, and only for 5 US dollars. That is a fantastic deal. So, what is this game? Love is in a Dangerous Space Time is a single player, but single player is not really how you should play it. Again another multiplayer game up to 4 people, and each of you control different parts of a spaceship. Sorry, excuse my voice. And one person has to fly the spaceship. One person has to control the shields. One person has to control the guns, and it all. Again, this is another really really cool communication game, which is it's fun. And you go through maps. You have to. There's a story to this. I don't really care about the story though. Um, you are saving like little cute bunny rabbits, and they have this sort of cute voice. And you pilot a ship that looks like a heart, which is, I guess, where the love is in a dangerous space time comes from. The graphics are fairly minimal, but it does run great. I've played this on Switch. I've played this with students as well. I've played this with friends. I never finished it, but again, really, really fun, really good playing with people you can communicate with. The caveats I mentioned with keep talking and nobody explodes is pretty much applies to this. Not good with people who don't really know each other. Not good for people who are shy or don't like to communicate, because this game, especially in multiplayer, you have to communicate really well, um, because dangers and where you have to go and enemies come from all different angles. And if you can't communicate well, you're just going to die, and you're going to feel frustrated because when you die, you start all the way at the beginning of the level. Each level, you usually have to rescue some rabbits, and after you rescue them, you go on to the next level. But if you die having rescued 4 out of the 5 rabbits or 7 out of the 8 rabbits, you start all the way back from the beginning with 0 rabbits, and you have to go around and find where the rabbits are. And every time, the rabbits are randomized, so they're not always in the same location. And they're bosses, they're also
Okay.
mini bosses. So for us middle-aged gamers, this is the kind of game in the beginning you can get away with 30 to 40 minute sessions, but later on it's going to take you at least an hour, maybe not longer than an hour. So that's something to be aware of. The current price, as I said, on indiebox.com is $5. That is ending tomorrow. They still have some available, but these are actual physical stuff, so you need to, if you're looking for a good family party game, go and grab it right now. What do you think, Mr. Gray?
This looks really interesting. Yeah, I'm digging the simplified aesthetics. So this is. You said this is a mobile game,
No, no, it is a
or is available on
Switch,
mobile?
PC, PlayStation game, PlayStation 4.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So yeah, it could kind of on some strange level reminds me of I think it was the Battlefield games where you could get into like a bomber and one person could be the ball turret
Oh,
gunner and
yes,
one guy was
yes,
the
yes,
pilot and one
yes.
guy was the Yeah, so that just looks like a lot of fun.
It is
Now,
very fun.
you said some of the sessions are they can be like over an hour. Is there a quick save option, or
There is no quick save because I mean,
so you have to complete it?
yes, and when I say over an hour is probably in the beginning of the game. The game is not long, maybe about 20 hours or so, but maybe in the first portion of the game, you take longer to play because you're just getting used to the mechanics, how to navigate the ship, how to fight, how to explain things to people. That's why it takes longer, and where to find stuff, where to find rabbits, how to finish a level, how to deal with bosses.
Okay. Yeah. Crud. I had a question in my head. Now it's gone.
That is
What was
perfectly
it?
okay.
I'm trying to debate. Oh, okay. Now, so obviously, with everybody doing a different task, is it possible to play this single player, or do you need somebody else to help you out?
So it is because I mean the game actually says there are the AI will take over for you, but
Oh, okay.
uh, from what I've heard, it's just terrible to play single player.
Okay, so you do really want a couple other people.
Yes, I mean at least one other person. I mean one other person would make a big difference. The more you'd get it, um, and one other person will also be like it's easy to communicate. But when you're communicating with four people, it's quite difficult. So two people is sort of like an ideal spot. Three people and four people start when things start to get difficult if you don't
Okay.
communicate well.
All right. But that seems like it could be a lot of fun chaos as well. Just kind of like, what are you doing? Get on the guns. Go, go, go.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Okay. All right, Adam, moving on to
Okay.
your
Yeah, it looks like a lot
last
of fun.
game.
I'm super excited about this one. All right, so obviously, me being a PlayStation guy, I'm going to be going with the PSN store. Now, unfortunately, the Black Friday sale ended yesterday, so no Black Friday sale. However, the end of year sale is now up. And so this should be continuing on until I believe December 23rd, when we will probably start getting into our Christmas sales. So you've got a little bit of time on this one, but still, you want to jump on it while you can. Now, the game that I'm going to be recommending is Ninokuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered for the PS4. They also have Ninokuni 2 is also on sale. Just get the sales out of the way. Ninokuni Wrath of the White Witch Remastered, it is 75% off. So you will be able to pick it up for $12.49. Uh, also, and here in Taiwan, it's only 70% off, so it's $4.77. But also, if you want to get the sequel, Nino Kuni 2 is 80% off at $11.99, or you can get the deluxe edition, which has all the season pass and all that for 84% off at $12.79. So if you wanted to get the deluxe edition of the second game and the first game, you could pick up both games for around 25 bucks, which is still less than either one game on its own. So this is an amazing deal. I've been waiting for this one for a long time, and usually it's on sale for maybe 30. So the fact that it's on sale for 75 is a huge, 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 huge deal. So this game is published by Bandai Namco. It originally came out in 2011 in Japan. It's actually a remake of a NDS 3D game that came out in 2010, and then it came out in 2013 in the West. The sequel was released in 2018. So this is available on PC, PlayStation, and I believe Switch now as well. So looking at it, you may notice that it kind of has this Studio Ghibli aesthetic, and the reason for that is because all the art is done by Studio Ghibli. So if you are a huge Studio Ghibli fan, you're going to love the art. You're going to love the music. The music's done by the same guy who does a lot of the music from the Studio Ghibli films. The art's obviously made by Studio Ghibli themselves, specifically the cutscenes, and the story is very reminiscent of the kind of thing you would find in Studio Ghibli. So in this one, you're following a boy. I believe his mother is sick or something like that, and he ends up going to this kind of fantasy world to try to find some way to help his mother. But this fantasy world is under control from this the evil White Witch, from which the name takes its where it gets its name. So what you're going to be doing is you have access to certain kinds of magic, and you can use those in combat. you can also get familiars, which is kind of like a little Pokemon type game. So as you're going around, you find these little, spirits of the world or whatever. You can catch them and then kind of train them up and level them up and then use them to assist you in battle. So there's kind of a Pokemon element to it as well. It's not quite as, there's not 150 of them to collect like the original Pokemon, but still there's that kind of aspect to it. And if I were to recommend this game to anybody, it would be if you like JRPGs. This is one of the best rated JRPGs in modern memory. The other big one being Persona, obviously. And if you're a big fan of Studio Ghibli, I would highly, highly, highly recommend this game because it is basically Studio Ghibli, the video game. So a lot of fun there.
Okay. I mean, funnily enough, I picked this up on Switch when it was on sale most recently, and I played about an hour of it in handheld mode, and I mean, at 720p, it looks amazing. I was just like, oh my God, I'm playing a Studio Ghibli cartoon in my
Yeah,
hands. It's fantastic. So I mean, I played the first hour and I really like it, but I'm probably not going to get back to it just because we're doing the streaming thing now. So uh, I still haven't quite set up my Switch streaming just yet. Have you played any of these?
I played the demo of the original one, and that's how it got on my radar. And I've been wanting to play it, but I've just been waiting for a sale because my backlog is super big. And unfortunately, RPGs tend to take a lot of time, and JRPGs especially tend to be quite long. So this is one of the ones that's been kind of sitting in the unofficial backlog and the wish list for a while, waiting for a good sale. And this is the most off I've seen it go so far. So for me, this is a absolutely take this opportunity while it lasts.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I actually don't have for the first time, because this is the game that I have and that you want to get, and I haven't played it, but I mean, I know quite a bit about it. I actually don't have a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, so if you look at it and you're like, oh, I've always wanted to play a Kiki's Delivery Service style game, and you're not going to get that because you're not flying around on a broom, but you're going to have that same kind of, the man's relationship with nature, the family, and the way we treat each other, and where do we fit into society, and where should it be, and that sort of thing. Then you're really going to enjoy this. And as I said, the second game is also on sale. The second game takes place, I think, a couple hundred years after the first one, so it's not a direct sequel. None of the characters return or anything like that. But yeah, so if you feel like, you know what, maybe I don't really want to try the first one, want to try the second one, you can jump right into that one and try that one first if you wanted to as well. It is
Okay.
a little bit different, but yeah.
Do you know when did the second one come out?
The second one came out in March 2018.
All right, so that would be the most recent. So it must.
Yeah.
So um, I'm just thinking for the graphic snobs like me, I like partly me because I'm half a graphic snob, half not a graphic snob, but that would probably look better than this one would.
I'm not quite sure because this one, okay, so the original Ninokuni was for the PS3 and the sequel was for the PS4. However, this is the remastered version of the original. So this is the PS4 version of the original game. So they've obviously updated the graphics a bit. I don't know if there's a huge difference graphically. I think they're pretty similar because also they go for that more cell shaded kind of cartoony aesthetic, and
Yes.
that doesn't really age all that much. I mean, you might get a little bit smoother things, like for instance, if you're watching the trailer, there's a part where you can see the queen and she's got these kind of tendrils on her head. You might have more joints in the tendrils to make them look a little more smooth or something like that. But I think graphically they're actually pretty comparable.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out when I can actually stream this, and probably, well, I was gonna have a December holiday, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can set up Switch streaming then, but who knows? Probably from my new place, I'll find some time to set up Switch streaming.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Okay, moving on to the last title of today.
Woo.
My last game. All right, my last game is going to be Terraria on the Switch. I did not play it on the Switch. I played it on the PC, but I this is one of the games I've told Adam before that I just believe it's much better to play on a Switch or much better to play with a controller, because it's just fun. So what Terraria is, it is available on the Switch eShop, $15 at the moment. It's not a big sale. I think the original price is $30. It ends tomorrow. So again, another game you should pick up immediately. It was first published 9 years ago in May 2011. It's available on all platforms, including mobile, except for new consoles. So what it is, looking at the trailer, you can see it's a 2D sandbox game. Um, it's sort of like a 2D Minecraft in a way. You sort of explore, you build stuff, you craft, you do some combat, you survive, you do some mining, craft more. It's that whole sort of combat, crafting, surviving loop. It's procedurally generated, so every time you play, there's always new things to do, and there's always loads and loads of hidden things. The company is Relogic. They have been updating the game since. They were supposed to come out with a Terraria 2, but they decided they didn't want to do it or couldn't do it. I can't exactly remember the reason. There are also loads and loads of mods for this with extra content, extra levels. Really, really fun game. It was the first kind of game sort of in the crafting survival genre that I played that I actually enjoyed. I will say that this is the kind of game, if you're playing it on PC or Switch, that you're going to have to Google because this game does not explain anything to you. When I first played it, I'm like, oh my god, I just died and died. I'm like, okay, I'm going to delete this game. And my brother's like, you just Google some stuff, figure out how to survive the first 2 or 3 days, and then after that, you'll be fine. And that's pretty much what I did. Um, so, as you start off the game, if you die, you just respawn, but you lose the stuff that you had on you and you mine and you can go down like if you look at the trailer right now we're in hell, which is like the bottommost level of the game, and there's all you can go all the way left and all the way right and discover stuff, and it's pretty fun. Definitely something to get on the Switch. There are multiplayer modes as well, so you can play it co-op on the Switch. Definitely a cool game. What do you think, Adam?
I got this one on sale a long time ago on the PS4, and then never played it because it just again went into the backlog. But it was a great deal. It was like 80% off or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna grab this game. Now, a lot of the comparisons that I saw were kind of that it had not exactly, but kind of Minecraft-like elements to it, where you could kind of shape the world and destructible environments and that sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Definitely like Minecraft. Yes.
Do they have building
Yeah.
similar to Minecraft?
So if you're looking at the trailer right now, their guys are building their own house. Yes.
Okay, very cool. Yeah. Now it's when you say multiplayer, that's online, correct?
Yes. So you would need
Okay.
on the Switch, you would need to be paying for Nintendo Switch Online, $5 a month.
Okay. Now, do you know how many people can play simultaneously?
Up to four?
Okay. Excellent.
Yes.
Great.
It's definitely the Switch. The modding scene is far more controlled. I mean, like most consoles are. On PC, it is far more varied, which is something to take into account. So, and PC, the multiplayer is all the way up to 16.
That's quite a few people.
Yes.
Does it have mod support?
Tons of mod support. On the Switch, it's minimal, but on the PC, is a lot.
So there is actually mods on the Switch.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. How do those work?
Again, I've never tried it. I know there are mods, but I've just never tried it.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's interesting to see mods on. I love the idea of mods on consoles.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess the Switch, because I mean, the Switch is sort of, you know, NTFS Windows file system based, so it would be easy to add mods into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now, does it have crossplay or no?
No crossplay.
Okay. Because I
Yes.
know Minecraft does have that. So, all right.
So Minecraft, you can crossplay on the Switch and other platforms?
If you have the Bedrock edition, yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. God.
that was part of the Play Together update. Was that PC and I think it was PC and Switch and Xbox could all play together, and I believe PlayStation is now on board with that too.
Wow.
Yeah, crossplay is the future.
Okay.
No more are we locked into our our little environments. It's a big, brave new world out there.
I just realized we're actually finished. You talked about your three. I just talked about my three, and we're done.
I know. Yeah, no, today was a shorter one. So,
It's good. You've been busy producing some amazing content for
yes, I've been trying my best.
our upcoming content that I will not spoil and leave that to you.
So
Um,
if you're watching, make sure you stick around.
yes, please do, because I will blast things out on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Adam's gonna be here. You guys can ask him questions if you're got a hold of a
Please.
PlayStation, if you have issues with a PlayStation. I've seen some questions on Twitter that I'm gonna ask him later.
Excellent. Yay.
And so yeah, if you're thinking about buying one, if you got a way to get a hold of one, if you're unsure, just yeah, stick around. We should be good to go in about another 10 minutes or so, and Adam's gonna be the volume of knowledge. There's probably a better way to say that.
Shallow. Shallow volume.
Okay, and Adam, do you want to sign us off?
All right. Well, let me pop this back up here. Here we go. And that's it for today. But before we go, a quick reminder to follow us on Middle Age Gaming 2020 on Twitch, Middle Age Gaming on Instagram, Gaming Aged on Twitter, Middle Age Gaming 2020 on Facebook, and of course, you can just email us directly at middleagegaming2020@gmail.com.
We're still very much looking forward to hearing from you, and I'm very excited to hear back from any listeners if they have any recommended sales we should be looking out for. And with that, we bid you a pleasant day. Bye.